You're right there guys, this is Cobb and this video is going to be a really quick guide on how to defend towers like a boss in Alterac Valley. So it's definitely not the most serious face guide, but we all hate Alterac Valley, or at least us hordes do, and tower defense just makes the BG so much more fun. I've released a couple of montages now centered around defending a tower, sometimes completely alone against a billion alliance. I'm going to go over how I spec in order to do this as well as I can. Then we're going to cover one of the clips I showed in one of their montages explaining what I'm doing. So there is a few things that you want to change around with regards to talents and glyphs to become a tower defending demigod. Dark Regen is a must as usual. You definitely want to pick up Shadow Fury, and this is because we're going to be sacrificing a succubus to gain the whiplash ability. You can hold targets still with Shadow Fury when they stack up, and can oftentimes knock 3 or 4 people off the towers in one whiplash, which is just epic. And the reason you want to sacrifice your succubus to use whiplash yourself is because the towers in AV have a lot of line of sight issues. Sometimes you're going to try and whiplash with your succubus and she will randomly be out of your target's line of sight, or maybe she gets feared to the other side of the tower or something. It is just pretty unreliable overall. Sacrificing definitely makes landing knockbacks easier. You also want to pick up Unbound Will, because if you're facing 10,000 allies alone, Blood Horror on one target isn't going to help you that much, but Trinketing to land your knockbacks definitely will, so I always go for Unbound Will when doing this. For glyphs, you want Healthstone Glyph and Glyph of Ember Tap, because you're going to need all of the bonus healing that you can get, and then you can either go for Glyph of Demonic Circle or Glyph of Eternal Resolve. Both are good. If you're able to avoid being burst down, Eternal Resolve will mitigate a lot more damage over time than the on-use version of the spell, but I usually play it safe and go for Demonic Circle in case I get spam knocked down. Next up, you ideally should have Engineering. I like to use the Invisibility Belt enchant to get the jump on people who think that the tower is undefended, or for getting back inside of the tower safely if they manage to kill me off. And the Goblin Glider is also amazing for pulling off little tricks like jumping off the tower and then steering to land back on it, just to buy yourself some time. And finally, you can buff yourself up with some flasks, with some food, and the all-important Soul Stone so you can interrupt the cap for as long as possible. Alright, that's that. Going into the actual clip, you're going to see that straight away the first thing I do is knock down as many people as I can as soon as they stack up. I probably should have Shadow Furied just to guarantee I was going to get this, but it actually paid off anyways. One of the warriors was still rooted by my net, so I messed up the timings a little bit, and that is basically the plan. Every time you have a knockback, you need to be knocking people off. Everything in between is just buying time until your next knockback is available, so I pop some heals here to keep myself up. I thought for a split second that the hunter was on me here. I forgot that a monk was up here with me, so I did also pop Unending Resolve, which was a bit of a waste, but I have plenty of tools left, so it is not the end of the world. And I do manage to ninja a couple of kills here, which is definitely good. Even though killing is not really my priority, it is a good bonus for sure. So I pop my head back into the flag room now and drop a Howl of Terror. It just keeps them off the flag and gets them out of the room, so I can try for more whiplashes. Unfortunately though, it doesn't really do that for me, so I decide to lob an Infernal in there, just for good measure. You really want to use every cooldown and trick available to you. They kill off the monk, and finally leave the room right here, and they're going to stack up, and I'm not even going to have to Shadow Fury to get off a triple knockback. But the rogue is able to Shadow Step back onto me, so maybe stunning with a Shadow Fury first might have still been a better idea. And while he's connecting on me, I pop Dark Bargain and spam out some Ember Taps. Then I make a mistake, I go YOLO here, I stun the rogue and try and randomly kill the paladin, even though he still has bubble, while I have up Dark Soul. And it does nothing really. All this means is that I have one less Ember now for healing. And when you're defending a tower like this, survivability is everything. Just focus on living until you can knock back again. At this point I have no major defensive cooldowns left, so I escape this warrior and the rogue with my portal. I Ember Tap again, and then I get out of the room. I really want to be on the outside so I can whiplash. Then things get scary here. These guys are pissed and chain a billion silences and rogue stuns on me. I really want to use whiplash here, but I realize I need to Ember Tap if I'm to have any hope of surviving. I do that, I manage to land the whiplash, but then I die. On the account of a Soul Stone, I am able to delay the cap for just a little bit longer, but again, I make some mistakes. If you res up with a Soul Stone on a tower like this, getting up your pet as quickly as possible has to be your priority. Without whiplash, you just aren't going to last very long, and even when I do get my pet up, I don't get off a knockback. I try and play super greedy and renew my Soul Stone. It would have been awesome if I got it off, but in hindsight, I could have played it a lot better and a lot safer. So this is where the Engineering Belt comes into play. I use it right here to get straight back into the tower after I've rezzed up. A bunch of allies left the tower, and the 2 that remain happen to be sitting rather precariously on the ledge. I Shadow Fury them both, hold them still, and then whiplash them off for an easy recap. So now the game resumes. I soulstone myself up, I lay a portal, and get myself outside of the room. Unfortunately, in the chaos, a happy paladin does waddle directly back into the room to re-tag the tower for the alliance. It took a little bit of the fun out of it, but if I can keep these 5 or 6 guys here dealing with me, they aren't roaming around the map completing other objectives for their team, and by that I of course mean zerging. I pop my head into the room and drop another big howl of terror to scatter these guys as much as possible. I'm always looking for the next tasty knockback opportunity. A few stack on me here, so I Shadow Fury, but get blinded at the same time, so I Trinket to land the Whiplash, and it is definitely worth it. And getting off the knockbacks like this is important. It's as important actually as taking kills in arenas, because it doesn't matter how well you can survive, eventually you will be overwhelmed if too many people get too much uptime on you. I tried to save this AFK priest here, then just decided to leave it, and that's when I spot a shaman on lower health and decided to just blow him up, and this was pretty risky in hindsight if I'd been kicked or CC'd on this cast, or it just hadn't killed him. It could have ended up being a waste of time or a waste of an ember, but I do get the kill, which is perfect. And the allies are really starting to build in number now, so I really needed that actually. I get hodged here, so I unbound will to break it and land a meaty fear bomb. It might have been better to shield wall and just sit the stun and wait for Shadow Fury. That could have set up the Whiplash of Destiny or something, but I did just play it safe here. I use my portal, then I use my heals just to stay topped up, and there are a ton of allies swarming around on the tower now, so landing this Shadow Fury into a quad knockback was exactly what I needed to continue existing a while longer. But even with that though, there's still a million allies after me, so I jump off the side, pop the glider, then steer myself back onto the tower, and this is especially good for buying time when an alliance follows you like this poor gentleman. It turns out that my shaman friend actually reincarnated, so I quickly assist nature in taking its course. But then I am in trouble again. I'm pretty much out of tricks now, aside from Dark Bag, in which I pop in this stone. It's going to soak up a load of damage. Out of this I howl all of the DPS and use a tailoring net on the warrior in case he breaks the fear, and clearly any hope of recapping this tower is basically gone at this point. I'm just trying to be annoying and keep these guys occupied with me for as long as possible, and thinking about it, this is a 40 versus 40 BG. If one guy can keep 5 or more players out of the game, you're basically making it a 39 versus 35 BG, which is actually very significant. I get caught without an answer here and a rogue pops me, so I wait until my insignia is about to be removed before soulstoning. I'm just running around like an idiot, and again it works out. I'm just wasting more of their time here. I am going to die, but I ended up spending 8 minutes at this tower during this BG. It helped out my team, defended an objective, and was a ton of fun, so I definitely recommend dapping around like this in AV if you hate the place and want to make it more interesting. If you play Alliance, defending a bunker won't quite be the same as a horde. It is all about landing the whiplashes as an alliance though. In a bunker you could try sacrificing a Voidwalker and maybe gemming fully for stamina and resilience, you know, to become an ultimate tank, and obviously I've never tried it myself, but it could be just as awesome. So anyways, thanks for watching everyone, really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, and if you want to see more, let me know with a like and a comment. I'll definitely be reading through those. Stay Destro everyone, and I'm going to catch you all a little bit later.